Ooh, okay. Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a while since I've posted anything or, all that good stuff. But today is different. Today I decided I'm going to make a commentary video on something I've noticed has become more and more prevalent, especially in body cam videos and in commentary videos themselves. So, for anyone who's new or any of my subscribers who are wondering who I am, previously my handle was Aries, or Aries for short, and I used to make gotcha videos, but I stopped making them as, one, I started becoming very unmotivated, and two, I just didn't have the passion for it like I used to. Now, my name, you can call me Jupiter, Vamp, Viv, it doesn't matter. Any of these names work. And I'll probably do a video later on detailing where I've been and what I'm doing now. Now, let's get into the topic. So, for a while, I've noticed that in a lot of body cam videos, whenever a minority does something bad, wrong, whatever crime they have committed, there is always an undercurrent of racism or homophobia or xenophobia, transphobia, any of that nature. And it's gotten to a point where most of the comments will literally have a thread underneath the original comment just talking bad about the perpetrator's race, culture, even their looks. And it's honestly terrible. So, for example, a couple weeks back, I watched a body cam video where a black elderly lady had robbed another lady. And there was a few comments that were rightfully shitting on her for her behavior, but underneath those videos there would be a thread of just the most racist things possible, and it was always so disgusting. Like, for example, this is just me paraphrasing, but someone said along the lines of course she's black, it's in their nature, or that's their culture, or making fun of how some black people speak. And it's like, oh, you are shitting on a whole race because of one person. That, in my opinion, does not make you morally better than the person. Like, of course, they committed a crime, but stooping to racism and anything of that nature is just equally disgusting. And like I said earlier, it's a prevalent issue. Because why is your first thought when you see a minority commit a crime be, of course she's said minority, it's in their nature, or I said she, it could be they, them, whatever. But instead of why would they do something like that? Why are they resorting to something like this? Why do they think like this? Referring to the person themselves as a person, not as their race. And it's just weird generalizing a whole minority off of one person's crime. Like, you wouldn't like it if I generalized all single moms because one single mom allowed her son to be a pedophile, would you? No. It's disgusting. It's weird. And it just doesn't make you any better than the person you're quote-unquote critiquing, because you're stooping lower than they did. Now, of course, that doesn't apply to all crimes. Like, if a person did a hit and run, stooping to racism is not equally as bad as that, but it's still bad. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what I'm trying to get at. Another example, I am currently watching this video. I might just get off of it because the comments are really just making me disgusted because they're generalizing women and strippers in general with these two. But basically the video is about two strippers who are intoxicated and they ended up hitting someone, like hitting their car, not an actual person, but they still hit someone. And within the first couple of seconds, one of them drops the N-word bomb. And that would be okay if they were black. They were white. Which I will get into because that's a subtopic in this video. But, and their appearance is what was getting shit on the most throughout their appearance and a bit of their profession were getting shit on the most in the comments. This is me again, once more paraphrasing, but someone said, geez, if she were my stripper, I wouldn't pay for her. And talking about her appearance, but I'll describe their appearance too, because they had very overlined lips, heavy lipstick, heavy drawn on eyebrows, and those big, the big caterpillar eyelashes. That's why I call them the caterpillar eyelashes, because of how big they are. That's what they had on, and someone said it's probably to like exaggerate the features because they're in a dark setting when they're dancing on the pole. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But someone generalized all women by saying, why do ladies think this is attractive when not all women get their eyelashes done like that? And then it cut off randomly. My mom called me. But another example is someone referred to them worse than lizards, which is very disgusting and dehumanizing because, also, I'm sorry, I'm quiet, I'm inside the house now. But why are you referring to women, especially two women, as uglier than wizards? Because you don't like their appearance. It's disgusting. It's weird. I don't think you would like if I called you a lizard because you had very exaggerated enhancements to your appearance. But that's what gets me into my topic. Why is it okay to stoop so low as to say racist, homophobic, transphobic things because you don't like a person for their actions? It doesn't make you better than the person who did the actions. If anything, you're close enough as bad to that person because you're trying to have a superiority complex. Not all, but most are trying to have a superiority complex by shitting on a person for their appearance, but not for their crimes. Like, do you get what I'm saying? You can critique someone and shame them for the crimes or their actions, but you do not have to go and stoop towards racism or mocking and making fun of their appearance. Like, we should be adults, but most adults act like children. Like, it's childish. You can, as a person, act your age and not make fun of someone because they did a crime. Like, you can just, as easily as you can make a racist comment, you can as easily make a genuine, critical, thought out comment about their crime or their actions. Like, you are no better than the person who did it. What I'm trying to say is, let me get a sip of water real quick. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, you can criticize someone without stooping to racism, homophobia, all that shit. Is two wrongs do not make a right. That's what I'm trying to say. Two wrongs do not make a right. And like, we can be adults, we can think with our big brains and think, okay, this person did something wrong, so criticize them for the thing they did wrong. Not for their appearance, not for their race, not for how they act. Well, never mind. You can for the way they act. But like, just think critically about it instead of thinking weirdly about it. Like, your first thought should not be, oh, it's in their nature. It should be, why would you do something like that? And I know I'm beating a dead horse, but like, it's just, use some common sense. Critical thought. That's all I'm asking. Yeah. Bye. Have a good day.